Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today, we're talking about the GBank Visa Signature Credit Card. And recently, I was approved for a $10,000 credit limit with only a soft pull. So your credit score will not be impacted unless you're actually approved for this card. The GBank Visa Signature Credit Card was built with sports bettors in mind, or if you're a DFS player. Now, this card offers cash backs on deposits made with approved sports books and fantasy platforms, which is something that you almost never see from a traditional bank. We're talking about well-known platforms like FanDuel, PrizePicks, Caesars, and BetMGM, assuming they are also on the approved vendors list. But you don't need to know anything about sports betting to potentially benefit from this card. What you need to understand is how this card fits into a smart credit card strategy, because when used correctly, not only can you receive a high limit credit card, it could be a very useful tool for building credit and strengthening your overall profile. So in this video, I'll walk you through my approval data points, and we're going to break down exactly how this card works, who it's best for, what the real benefits are, and most importantly, how to position yourself if you're thinking about going after this. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's start with the basics. The GBank Visa Signature Credit Card is issued by GBank, formerly Bank of George. This is a Nevada-based publicly traded bank holding GBFH, specializing in commercial banking, SBA lending, and fintech solutions. And they are based right here in Las Vegas. They provide services for business growth, notably powering cashless mobile commerce for gaming and the sports betting industry. GBank is well known for high volume SBA lending. In fact, they were ranked 17th nationally in 2021. Most credit cards try to avoid certain transaction categories, especially anything related to gaming or betting, but this card actually leans into that space. And that is exactly what makes the GBank Visa Signature Credit Card position itself so differently from everyone else. Instead of coding qualifying gaming deposits as cash advances, GBank treats them as a standard purchase when used at approved vendors. Normally, for this type of transaction, you would get nothing back. However, now your deposits actually generate cashback rewards just like everyday spending. Next, let's discuss the actual rewards and benefits of this card. So this is a no annual fee card, and you'll earn unlimited 1% cashback on transactions that fall into gaming and sports app loads, and it earns unlimited 2% cashback on everything else. The 2% flat rate is actually very competitive in today's market, which means the card can still function as a solid everyday spender card, even if you never place a single bet. Like most reward cards, GBank determines your earnings based on the merchant category codes, also known as MCCs. Now, these codes tell the network what type of purchase you made and which reward tier should apply. The 1% gaming rewards applies to transactions coded under several specific MCC categories, including wire transfers and money orders, quasi-cash transactions involving foreign or non-fiat currency, government-owned lotteries, online gambling, licensed horse and dog racing, and traditional betting or casino gambling. Another positive detail is that rewards do not expire as long as your credit account remains open and in good standing, and that gives you flexibility to accumulate cash back over time without worrying about it losing value. Now, because GBank explicitly accepts those gambling-related MCCs, qualifying transactions are processed as regular purchases instead of cash advances. That means no immediate interest, no separate cash advance fee structure, and no ugly surprises on your statement. Cardholders can even send funds directly from the card into a wagering account, which is something that many traditional issuers would either block or heavily penalize. People who already participate in sports betting or fantasy leagues, this is a controlled and responsible way that you will rarely ever see. However, we do need to keep this grounded in reality. This card does not include 0% APR for any sort of introductory period, and the ongoing APR can reach as high as the upper 27% range depending on your credit profile. In other words, if you carry a balance month to month on this card, it can get quite expensive very quickly. It's also important to understand the math. A 1% return on gaming spending is very modest. So if someone were to spend $1,000 in a month on qualifying betting activity, the cashback would only equal $10. Now that can be a nice bonus for spending if you are already planning to do it responsibly, but it's not going to offset any significant gambling losses. On the redemption side, options are relatively straightforward. Rewards can be redeemed for statement credits with a minimum redemption threshold of $5. So in other words, you'd have to spend at least $500 to be able to redeem because 1%. So users may find this slightly limiting compared to premium reward ecosystems that offer, let's say, travel transfers, gift cards, or even bank deposits. For example, cards like the Chase Sapphire Preferred operate in a completely different rewards universe where points can be transferred to airlines and hotel partners or redeemed through a travel portal for potentially outsized value. This isn't the lane that the GBank card was meant to be in, and I know it's not trying to compete in that. Instead, the GBank Visa is positioning itself as a very specific tool. It is a straightforward cashback card that plays nicely with gambling transactions while still offering a competitive 2% return on everyday purchases. So if you use this strategically and responsibly, it can fill a unique gap that most traditional credit cards simply refuse to touch. Now, before we head over to the website, let's discuss the actual data points. And I'm going to be honest with you, my curiosity got the best of me with this card. I saw that there was pre-qualification and it was only a soft credit check. And since it required no documentation, I figured it was worth like running through the process to see exactly how it would work. So this is a soft inquiry. It's going to be from Experian. I did need to unfreeze my report so that I can actually complete the pre-qualification. Getting into the pre-qualification flow was not immediately obvious. The option is like buried on the site, but I added the link in the description. That one should actually work. So if you're interested, click on that link. And after clicking on that page, you'll select the pre-qualification button. Then I entered standard information, name, address, social, a couple other things. Within seconds, I received the congratulations screen indicating that I was pre-qualified. I walked through that process once again, and I'll also show you step by step. And then I was able to actually get the card. Now, when it comes to credit scores, from what I researched, they require a credit score of 670 on average. And this came directly from the website. Like if you go to the website, go down to the FAQ section, you'll actually see it says it requires a 670 credit score. I had no derogatory marks at the time of application, no collections, no charge-offs, no late payments. Credit card utilization was less than 10%. I had 2 inquiries, but they were over 6 months old. Now, if you're approved and your identity is successfully verified, because they may do that, you can typically activate your virtual card almost immediately. So that means that you don't necessarily have to wait for the physical card to arrive before you begin using this card. Once it's active, you simply fund your account on any approved sportsbook or DFS platform, and the cashback tracking begins automatically. After your approval and your identity verification, once you make your first qualifying deposit, you can receive a $50 cashback bonus. Now, that is at the time of recording this video. That's not life-changing money, but it's still a little extra boost for doing something you were already planning to do anyway. Now, when you combine that welcome bonus with ongoing cashback, the value proposition becomes much clearer for active users. And then there's one last thing that I want to address before we go over to the website. I did see data points from other people who didn't live anywhere near Nevada and they had no prior relationship with GBank. They were approved as well, so I do not believe you need to live in the state of Nevada to be approved for this card. As some of you know, I live in Las Vegas, so I can't confirm that with certainty, but anyone else that gets approved for this card, please drop a comment below with your approval limit and what state that you currently reside in. So currently we are on the GBank website. Once again, check the link in the description. This is the one that you should use. When I first tried to just go to Google and apply for the card, the link did not work on the first page that came up. So this is the one that I had used, and it should look like this, where you can actually click on the apply now or pre-qualify button. I want to scroll down here just to show you a couple more things. Here are the credit card FAQs. I just would always go ahead and check this out depending on the time that you're watching this video. Of course, at the time of recording, no annual fee. You know how to earn that cash back. Here's exactly what I was talking about when I said the credit scores, and then how can you apply for this card, and then does pre-qualify affect my credit score immediately? So these are all things that you want to take a look at. Now, with that said, let's scroll back up and let's click on pre-qualify. Now, when you do the pre-qualification, it's going to look like this. You'll enter your first name, your last name, your address, your city, your state, your zip code, your mobile number, your email, you'll enter your social, and then you'll also enter your date of birth. Now, I'm not sure if I'm the only one that's going to have this problem, but when I went to enter my date of birth, this thing never actually just let me do it. I had to like click this arrow right here and go all the way to my actual birth year. But let me see if it'll let me do it now. No, I think it's going to be the exact same thing. So their website isn't the easiest to navigate with, I do have to say. But if you run into this issue, just know I had the exact same thing. I had, similar problem. Let me enter oh, never mind. It actually worked this time. Okay, if you don't have that issue, then don't worry about it. But I had an issue where when I was trying to enter my year, I had to go all the way like back to 1993, and it was like crazy. Anyway, once you do all of that, you'll enter in the information. You'll click this section right here. You'll click on check now. Within a few minutes, you should be brought to a screen that shows you that you're pre-qualified, but it won't show you the limit until you go into your email. Now, I'm going to show you what that screen looks like, and then I'll show you the email that you should get. One more thing, in case someone skipped through this video, you need to unfreeze your Experian credit report in order for you to actually pre-qualify. So if you do this, you need to unfreeze Experian. If you don't, then of course you cannot get pre-qualified. Now, once you're pre-qualified, it should say congratulations. It should have your name on it, and it should say thank you for completing the pre-qualification process. You should get an offer ID. This might be blocked out, and then it'll also show the offer ID was sent to your registered email, which again, this might be blocked out, but it would show your email right here. And then you would see like complete the application, things like that. Now, this is just a screenshot. As soon as I did it, I went ahead and made this so I could show you guys. Now, let's actually go to my email and see where it shows you your pre-qualification limit. All right, and then you should get something like this where it'll say, dear, your name, you're almost there. Complete the application to get your GBank Visa signature card, and then the pre-qualified limit right here, $10,000, and then you will click on complete application. Let's see if this still works. Okay, it does still work. Now, of course, all this information for me is going to be blurred out. You're not going to see this information, but if you scroll down, they're going to ask for your employer name, your housing type, your monthly housing payment, and of course your annual income. And then when you scroll down here, you'll actually get the terms and conditions. Now, again, I'm not sure why it's so small. Their site is a little bit wacky, if I'm being honest. Like it's not the best site, but you would scroll down, hit continue, and then you would be able to actually get approved for this card. Once again, if they ask you to do some identity verification, once that's done, you should be able to access your virtual card and begin using this immediately. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you're someone who uses strategies like arbitrage betting or frequently rotates balances between sports books, then this card can be especially interesting. Anyone who runs these strategies knows how often funds move in and out of different platforms, deposits here, withdrawals there, and then redeploy capital somewhere else. Those transactions do add up quickly, and personally, if I'm already moving money around to optimize lines or managing balances, I would rather those deposits generate something on the back end instead of just producing zero return. Now, I don't sports bet all the time like I used to. This used to be something that I did as like a hobby or even like a side hustle, I guess, because it made some good money. I do it every once in a while now. Like maybe I'll do something during March Madness, sometimes Super Bowl. It just like varies. But at the end of the day, the GBank Visa Signature Credit Card fills a very specific niche in the market, and it might be something that will benefit you. Once again, if you want to check out the GBank Visa Signature Credit Card, you can find the link down below in the description. And if this breakdown helped you see something you were missing before, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel, tap the like button, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss my next video. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and you all have a wonderful day.